My wife walked away after I received my cancer diagnosis, sending a message that read, "I didn't sign up for this." What she didn't realize was, this wasn't what I envisioned. Those were the words displayed, just 5 simple phrases beneath a screenshot of our vacant joint account. "I am Anthony, a 32-year-old head mechanic at Wilson's Auto in Spokane." Just 4 hours prior, I found myself in a doctor's office, absorbing heavy words like lymphoma, treatment options, and survival rates. Phase 2. Manageable, yet a journey awaits. I reached out to Brianna from the parking lot, inviting her to come over so we could share a moment together at home. She mentioned she was occupied, had some tasks to attend to, and would return later. Upon returning home, I found the closet half bare, her suitcase missing, and the wedding photo absent from the nightstand. Then the message arrived, accompanied by a screenshot revealing that she had moved our entire savings, $38,000 we had carefully set aside over 5 years, into an account solely in her name. I lingered over the message for a full minute, then responded with 2 simple words, "Take care." As I set my phone aside, I uncapped a cold beer and settled onto our back deck, allowing the warm hues of the sunset to wash over me. Didn't shed a tear, didn't lash out, just remained still, absorbing the heaviness of it all, the reality of the cancer I might confront. The betrayal was an experience unlike any other. Derek from next door noticed me sitting there and approached the fence with a gentle curiosity. "Is everything okay with you?" I caught a glimpse of Brianna as she drove away, her car filled to the brim. "I have some news about my health," I mentioned softly. She felt the weight of it deeply. Derek nodded, allowing the moment to linger without pressing for further words. "Feel free to reach out if there's anything you desire. Amelia creates a delightful casserole that warms the heart." "Thank you," I expressed softly. Once he departed, I stepped inside and retrieved the folder my Uncle Patrick had entrusted to me just last month. He had stepped away from estate planning last year, yet he still found ways to remain connected to the field. When my grandfather departed in February, leaving me this cherished piece of land up north, Patrick was there to assist me in sorting out the paperwork. "Everyone must have their matters arranged," he had remarked, "particularly when one is in a marriage. Embrace one another with care." I had begun the journey, revising my will, naming Brianna as co-owner of the '69 Mustang I had lovingly restored, though the final paperwork with the DMV still awaited my touch. Establish a secondary account at another bank to receive the proceeds from the land sale once it is finalized. Everything is done to shield us, to safeguard her. Isn't it intriguing how life unfolds? I reached for my phone and dialed Patrick's number. When he answered, I softly reminded him of that intimate conversation we shared about estate planning. "I feel the urge to embrace some transformations." A moment lingered in the air. "Is everything all right, Anthony?" "No," I softly replied. "Yet it shall be." Our paths crossed at Caleb's wedding in 2016, where Brianna captured my attention. She worked as a paralegal at a law firm nestled in the heart of downtown. Intelligent, sharp, and captivating. 6 months later, we took the step to share our lives under one roof, and the following year, we sealed our bond in marriage. The initial years were filled with warmth and connection. We set aside our dreams for a home, discovering a charming fixer-upper nestled in a lovely neighborhood. I dedicated my weekends to transforming spaces, lovingly replacing cabinets, rejuvenating floors, and carefully installing new plumbing. Brianna selected the perfect paint colors and furniture, sharing captivating before and after photos online, celebrating our journey as a renovation success story. I lost my father when I was just 13 years old. My mother nurtured my sister and me on a teacher's salary, instilling in us the values of hard work, the importance of living within our means, and the wisdom of always having a safety net. Since my mother left this world 2 years ago, that backup plan has taken on a deeper significance for me. Brianna emerged from a unique lineage. Her parents bestowed upon her a world of abundance, the journey of education, the thrill of a new car every few years, and the dream of a home to call our own. They could never grasp the reasons behind her choice to marry a mechanic. Her father, a corporate attorney, always referred to me as Brianna's husband, never choosing to use my name. Reflecting on the past, I realized the fissures began to emerge long before I received my diagnosis. 3 months ago, Brianna began to share her thoughts about relocating to Seattle, expressing that there were more promising opportunities awaiting her there. I held back. My job felt secure and fulfilling. We welcomed friends into our space. The house was nearly free of debt. She fell into a stillness following those exchanges. Far away, I found myself immersed in the company of friends I had yet to truly know. Then came the subtle remarks that pierced deeper than they ought to have. Isn't there a yearning within you to explore deeper passions beyond just fixing cars? My college roommate's husband has just reached a significant milestone, becoming a partner at his firm. They are creating a serene getaway. There are moments when I find myself pondering the path not taken, imagining how life might have unfolded had I chosen to embrace the vibrant energy of Chicago after graduation instead of remaining in this familiar place. I overlooked the signals, convincing myself that every relationship encounters its challenges, that we would find our way through it together. As I discovered the business card for an apartment complex in Seattle nestled within her purse, I chose to remain silent, holding back the questions that stirred within me. I just had a soft conversation with my Uncle Patrick about the delicate task of updating our legal paperwork, begun to capture the essence of what we hold, just to be prepared. 2 weeks later, I found myself at the doctor's office, convinced that I was merely battling a lingering cold, discovered the tender lymph nodes instead. Then the delicate dance of blood tests, the intimate moment of the biopsy. The evening prior to my final diagnosis, Brianna and I shared a meal at our kitchen table. She spoke softly about a coworker's recent promotion, her voice carrying a hint of warmth and admiration. I observed her expression, curious if she could sense the trepidation reflected in my own. "Is everything all right?" At last, she found the courage to inquire. Yes, I wasn't truthful. Feeling a bit weary. She nodded softly, her focus lingering on each bite she took. He held back, his gaze lingering elsewhere, avoiding mine. That should have revealed all the truths I sought to understand. 3 days after Brianna departed, I began my journey with chemotherapy. The first session resonated with me more deeply than I had anticipated. The nurse guided me to a comfortable recliner, gently connected the four, and inquired softly if my ride was waiting just outside. I decided to take an Uber. I mentioned softly, "My wife is away for a while." She offered me a gaze that held a mystery, then gently placed her hand on my arm. "The initial step is often the most challenging. You will find your way through this." I nodded, my words caught in the depths of my heart. I had only confided in Derek next door about Brianna's departure, revealing that she was truly gone, not merely away for a while. Voicing it would transform it into something tangible, something laden with a deeper sense of vulnerability. Upon arriving home, I found a warm casserole waiting for me on the front porch, accompanied by a heartfelt note from Derek's wife. Created in abundance, indulge in the moment. I was aware of the untruth, yet I found a certain warmth in it regardless. I attempted to nourish myself, yet found it impossible to hold on to anything. Found myself on the cool bathroom floor, heart racing and body trembling, enveloped in solitude. That evening, I reached out to my sister Sophie in Portland, shared my deepest thoughts with her. The illness, Brianna, the finances. She felt an irresistible urge to set off right away. I gently requested her to hold on a moment. I had to take a moment to gather my thoughts and feelings. The following morning, I reached out to my bank. It was only 40 minutes after I reached out to Brianna from the doctor's office that I realized she had drained our accounts, before she had even grasped the intricacies. She sensed my struggle, and that alone was enough to drive her away. A subtle change stirred within me. The sorrow transformed into a deeper, more complex feeling. Not quite anger, in truth. Intention. I made my way to Uncle Patrick's house that afternoon, gathered all our financial documents, property records, and everything we hold dear. "She can't simply take your money like that," he murmured, glancing over the statements with a furrowed brow. "We have a joint account," I gently reminded him. "Her name is intertwined with it, as well." Patrick gently removed his reading glasses, a soft sigh escaping his lips as he set them aside. "Anthony, her actions were not merely unfeeling. They may have crossed a line into something unlawful. With an understanding of your vulnerability, she chooses to take everything, fully aware of the burdens that await you. Is it possible for me to demonstrate that? Did she truly understand? He paused, lost in thought. Your phone records reveal that you reached out to her immediately following your appointment. The bank statement reveals the moment she initiated the transfer. Have you recorded the date of your diagnosis? I took out my phone and revealed the message she had sent him. This wasn't what I expected. Patrick's expression grew intense. That carries a heavy weight. We devoted the next 3 hours to weaving together a strategy, each moment filled with a deep connection to our shared vision. The transformation of the Mustang title, the transaction of the land, the expenses related to my medical insurance and treatment, capturing every moment. As I stepped away from Patrick's house, my phone vibrated softly in my pocket. An email from Jenna, Brianna's cousin, who has always shown warmth and kindness towards me. Anthony, I've come to know about what transpired. I deeply apologize. I'm left wondering about Brianna's thoughts. I want you to feel my presence, always ready to support you in any way you might need. I lingered over the message, lost in its depths for what felt like an eternity. Then replied, "Is Brianna aware of my diagnosis?" Jenna's reply arrived with a delightful swiftness. "Indeed, she shared with others about your illness, expressing that it was too much for her to bear and that she sought a new beginning. My entire family is taken aback. This feels off." I expressed my gratitude and set my phone aside. As I drove home, the warm summer breeze caressed my skin, filling me with a sense of freedom and joy. For the first time since the diagnosis, a sense of clarity washed over me. I felt a deep understanding of the path I was meant to take. Requested to be released from the mortgage, yet sought a share of the home's equity. She remained silent about the funds she had already acquired. "There is nothing to share regarding my condition." I brought the letter to Patrick. "Quite daring," he remarked, his gaze lingering on the document. "Drains your resources, fully aware of your struggles, then seeks to claim a share of your home as well. What steps should I take?" "Hold on for a moment," Patrick suggested softly. "Let's discover the depths of her desires." The following day, a message arrived from an unfamiliar number. "Anthony, it's me, Brianna. This is my new number, a small change that brings a sense of connection closer to you. I understand that you're feeling hurt, but we must find a way to resolve this together. My lawyer has informed me that I have a rightful claim to half of the house." I remained silent. 3 days later, a new message arrived. "Anthony, embracing a more mature perspective would be beneficial. I understand that you're facing challenges, yet I also have my own needs and feelings that deserve consideration. Navigating through emotions. As if cancer were a heavy cloud I had to rise above, I decided to cut off communication. The impact of my third chemo session was profound. For 2 days, I struggled to hold on to even the simplest of meals. Shedding 12 pounds has been a transformative journey. Sophie has finally arrived from Portland, spent a week immersed in the experience, transformed the space into a serene sanctuary, filled the freezer with comforting meals, guided me to my appointments. The day before her departure, another letter arrived from Brianna's lawyer. Increased expectations. There were increasing whispers of what I had yet to give her. Sophie was filled with a deep, smoldering intensity. Following her actions, she should feel fortunate that you haven't pursued legal action for the trust she betrayed. "We will arrive," I assured. The next week, a certified letter from the bank arrived in my hands. Brianna sought to erase my name from our shared credit cards, yet the absence of my signature held her back. She had also tried to reach for our safe deposit box, the one that holds the essence of our home, the cherished Mustang title, and the legacy of my grandfather's will. She felt a wave of disappointment wash over her as the bank denied her access, the absence of the second key leaving her in a state of longing, the essence of my being. I reached out to Patrick without hesitation. "There's a sense of urgency in her voice," he remarked. Perhaps she became aware of the unfinished threads that lingered in the air. "What should I do next?" "Let's secure that precious treasure away. Transfer everything to a new one, solely in your name. It feels like the right moment to take care of those title changes for the Mustang." I decided to take a day for myself, even though it felt like each day had become a struggle. Visited the bank, sealed away the past, and embraced a fresh beginning. Visited the DMV to gently untangle the connection, removing Brianna's name from the title that had lingered in an unfinished state. That evening, a message arrived from an unfamiliar number. "Did you update the title for the Mustang? That car belongs to me as much as it does to anyone else. You inscribed my name upon it." I gazed at the message, feeling a rush of emotions swirl within me. How could she possibly have known so soon? I had just submitted the paperwork that morning. In that moment, everything fell into place. It seems she has a source at the DMV sharing secrets with her, or the sanctuary of trust, a presence observing my every gesture. I reached out to Patrick. I sensed that she has support, someone sharing the details of my actions with her. Patrick lingered in silence for a moment. Her father possesses influential ties. I wouldn't be surprised by his actions. What should I do? Patrick suggested sharing misleading information. Let's create an enticing allure. The following day, I reached out to the realtor managing the sale of my grandfather's land. I requested her to take a moment and pause the process. I took care to express during the call that I was considering various avenues for liquidating assets. Then I reached out to my investment bank, where a small 401k from a previous job lingered in the shadows of my past. Inquired about the steps for early withdrawal. I expressed my thoughts on exploring various possibilities because of the burden of medical expenses. I lingered in anticipation, eager to discover Brianna's next move. 2 days later, her lawyer delivered a new letter requesting a share of the proceeds from the sale of inherited property and a just division of all retirement accounts. Patrick's eyes lit up with warmth as I revealed the letter to him. She succumbed to the allure. "What comes next?" I inquired. "Now we reveal our truths," he said. For the following month, I immersed myself in nurturing my well-being. The treatments were harsh, yet there was a glimmer of hope in the doctor's eyes. My hair had vanished. I had shed 30 pounds. Yet, I could feel the progress blossoming within me. Sophie visited every other weekend, bringing a warmth that lingered long after she left. Derek and Amelia from next door reached out to me each day, their concern wrapping around me like a warm embrace. My boss reduced my hours, yet ensured my health insurance remains intact. I was enduring the illness and Brianna's absence. There were days that felt more challenging than the rest. On certain nights, I found myself stirring, my hand stretching out for a presence that was absent. Yet, my attention remained gently anchored on the unfolding journey ahead. The forthcoming experience. The next step in the captivating chess game that Brianna had initiated. On a Tuesday morning, Patrick's voice broke through the stillness. "We received the papers from her bank. Can you imagine what she might have done with your money? Whisper your thoughts to me." Moved it to a new account and then, with a gentle touch, wrote a check for $30,000 to her parents. I settled into my seat. What could have prompted her to act in that way? I have a feeling. Attempting to conceal it, enhance the layers of concealment, and make retrieval more elusive. Is it possible for her to do that? No, Patrick replied softly. That's the allure of it. In a moment of vulnerability, she moved shared resources amidst a recognized health struggle, seeking to conceal the funds through an intermediary. The judge is likely to disapprove of that. I found myself lost in contemplation. I wished to avoid a prolonged struggle, Patrick. At this moment, I find myself lacking the energy for that. Believe me, it won't reach that point. Once her lawyer reviews our findings, a resolution will be reached. 2 days later, as I was departing from my treatment, I caught sight of a familiar car nestled in the hospital parking lot. Brianna's father drives a silver BMW. He sat behind the wheel, his gaze fixed on the hospital entrance, waiting for my arrival. I approached his car with purpose, gently tapping on the window. He lowered it, his expression a carefully crafted facade that I recognized intimately. "Anthony, you seem to be carrying a weight that doesn't belong to you. Cancer has a way of bringing that out. What brings you to this moment?" Brianna is worried, expressing that you may be approaching the divorce proceedings with a sense of unyieldingness. A soft chuckle escaped me. Is that how she refers to it? Unjustifiable? She is ready to offer her kindness, understanding the depth of your circumstances. An equitable sharing of belongings, encompassing the home. After she took every cent we had, after she departed on the day of my diagnosis, he had the grace to appear uneasy. She was troubled, deeply moved. Everyone has moments of misstep. This was a deliberate choice. It was a decision born from deep reflection. He let out a soft, lingering sigh. Anthony, let's be realistic. You seem unwell. Your energy should be directed towards healing, rather than engaging in a legal struggle that may drain you further. In that moment, a realization washed over me. They perceived me as someone in need, assumed I was at my lowest after Brianna emptied our accounts, believed I would accept any offer just to sidestep a confrontation. They were blissfully unaware of the land sale. I had no inkling that I had taken her name off the Mustang title just before she could lay claim to it. I had no inkling that I had captured every moment. Please let Brianna know that I will have my response ready for her lawyer by Friday, I said, glancing back as I prepared to depart. Anthony, he called softly after me. Don't let this become more complicated than it has to be. I chose to move forward, leaving the past behind me. On Thursday, I found myself in the company of Patrick and the real estate lawyer he had invited, Laura Tran. We examined every detail, the bank statements revealing Brianna's withdrawal right after my diagnosis, her message, the testimony from Jenna affirming that Brianna was aware of my cancer, the check sent to her parents. This is a stark instance of financial neglect, Laura remarked, along with the effort to hide marital assets. This will not be viewed favorably by any judge. What shall we do next? I inquired. She mentioned that we would initiate our own divorce proceedings. We reveal the deep sense of neglect during moments of medical turmoil, the shadows of financial misconduct, and the efforts to hide resources. We seek the complete restoration of the missing funds along with the associated legal expenses. Do you think that will be effective? I inquired. Laura's smile radiated warmth. I've never encountered such a pristine case, yet I doubt it will reach that point. Once they experience what we possess, they'll surrender. What if they choose not to? Then we find ourselves in the courtroom, where she faces the unraveling of all she holds dear, her reputation slipping away like sand through her fingers. After what felt like an eternity, a flicker of hope stirred within me. On Friday morning, Laura shared our heartfelt response with Brianna's lawyer. A comprehensive divorce filing accompanied by all the supporting evidence, financial statements, personal communications, accounts from observers, health records. Everything presented with a crisp, vivid clarity. As the clock approached noon, Brianna's lawyers sought an urgent gathering. That was quick, I remarked to Patrick over the phone. They were caught off guard by your unexpected resources, he remarked. They believed you were too fragile, too weary, or too worn to rise again. The gathering was arranged for Monday. I devoted the weekend to rejuvenation, allowing my mind to wander and find tranquility. On Sunday night, a message arrived from yet another unfamiliar number. This feels so harsh, Anthony. I found myself in a moment of misjudgment. Yet, there is an undeniable sting to it. At this moment, my parents are unable to return the money. It feels as though you're unraveling the very essence of who I am. I gazed at the screen, lost in thought. Spiteful? I wasn't the one who turned away from a partner in need and took what was rightfully theirs. I was not the one seeking refuge in the shadows of lawyers and parents. In that moment, I found the courage to respond. Every action carries its own weight and significance. On a gentle Monday morning, I found myself in the presence of Patrick and Laura at her office. They desired my presence, yet gently suggested that I remain silent unless prompted by a question. Brianna entered the room, accompanied by her father and her lawyer, a slender figure adorned with costly glasses and an ever-present look of concern. She radiated a captivating beauty, sun-kissed, rejuvenated. It felt as though the last few months had been a serene escape. All the while, I was engaged in a profound struggle for my very existence. She averted her gaze, a silent barrier between us. She listened as her lawyer began to speak. Your submission has been carefully considered. Although we see things differently, my client is open to exploring a resolution that fosters harmony and sidesteps any further discord. Laura's smile radiated warmth. Allow me to express myself clearly. This is not open for discussion. It's a preliminary gathering before we move forward to the courtroom. Your client chose to leave her husband when he received his cancer diagnosis, draining their shared accounts and trying to conceal those funds with her parents, all while seeking more assets. Every detail has been carefully recorded. Brianna moved subtly in her seat. Her father inclined closer. Surely we can find a harmonious understanding. Your daughter entrusted you with her husband's medical emergency fund. Laura interjected softly. We possess the records for the checks. Will you be returning those funds today? Or should we consider taking further action regarding the acceptance of those marital assets? Stillness enveloped the room. Brianna's lawyer took a moment, his throat clearing softly in the stillness of the room. What is it that you truly desire? Laura unveiled our intentions. The complete return of the $38,000. Brianna is to surrender any rights to the house, the Mustang, my grandfather's land, and my retirement accounts. She would embrace the responsibility for all legal fees. In return, I would refrain from seeking legal action regarding the financial deceit and neglect. This is a theft, Brianna's father whispered, his voice laced with a heavy sense of loss. No, Laura responded with a serene composure. Your daughter engaged in an act of theft. This is a profound sense of balance. The meeting concluded with Brianna's lawyer requesting 48 hours to reflect on our terms. As we exited the conference room, Brianna sought to connect with my gaze. I glided by her, my pace unwavering. In the elevator, Patrick's hand gently pressed against my shoulder. You performed beautifully in there, I assure you. I did nothing at all, I replied softly. Simply lingered in that moment. At times, that can be the most challenging aspect, he responded softly. 2 days later, Laura reached out. Brianna had embraced all our terms. Her parents promised to return the entire $38,000 within a month. She would gracefully sign the papers, letting go of all claims to our shared sanctuary. It's over, Laura whispered. You have triumphed. Yet, it lacked the essence of triumph. It seemed like the conclusion of a chapter one had believed would endure endlessly, as if pausing a captivating tale, leaving the heart yearning for more. For the first time since my diagnosis, I found myself enveloped in a peaceful slumber, drifting through the night without interruption. The settlement money arrived precisely 30 days later, a moment filled with anticipation and relief. A cashier's check for the complete sum of $38,000. I took a moment to settle the funds, then reached out to my oncologist's office to address my medical bills. Hannah, the nurse who had accompanied me through each step of my treatment, was at the front desk when I arrived. You've never looked more radiant, she said. The results from last week were quite promising. Take care of yourself, I murmured as I offered the check. She cast a fleeting look at the sum. Has the insurance come through yet? Perhaps something along those lines. A week later, the divorce was finalized. I signed the papers at Laura's office, a wave of emptiness washing over me, neither sorrowful nor filled with rage. Simply completed. What comes next? Patrick inquired softly as we stepped out of the building. Complete the healing journey. Embrace the journey of healing. Discover the path that lies ahead. He inclined his head, a silent agreement lingering in the air. The land sale is set to conclude next month. That amounts to an additional $65,000. And if you choose to part with the Mustang? Not just yet, I replied softly. I find it difficult to release all that I hold dear. As the day began to fade, I found myself on my back deck, a glass of water in hand, captivated by the gentle descent of the sun, painting the sky in hues of warmth. The waves of nausea from the chemotherapy had finally eased away. My hair was beginning to emerge once more. Uneven, yet present. The doctors spoke of a positive response and a hopeful future. A gentle vibration stirred my phone. Message from Jenna, Brianna's relative. Anthony, I've heard that everything has come together beautifully. I deeply regret the pain my family has caused you. Brianna's parents are parting with their cherished Lake Coeur d'Alene cabin to settle the debts they owe you. My aunt is filled with anger, directing her frustration towards you rather than Brianna. Yet, I wish for you to realize that some of us truly grasp the depth of what transpired. I truly hope you are finding your way to brighter days. You are worthy of every bit of that. I set my phone aside, choosing silence over words. No longer felt the need to immerse myself in Brianna's family turmoil. The moment had come to embrace the journey of healing, on the journey of renewal. As we moved forward into the unknown, half a year later, my oncologist finally spoke the words I had longed to hear. full restoration. I lingered in her office, allowing the weight of the news to envelop me. Still lingering. The shadow of lymphoma may always linger, a reminder of its potential return. But for now, the shadow had lifted. The victory embraced. What unfolds next? I inquired. Routine examinations, analysis of vital essence, regular assessments every 6 months. But for now, Anthony, embrace the journey that awaits you. As the sun dipped below the horizon, I reached out with 2 calls. First to Sophie, who let out a joyous cry. Then to my dear friend Marcus in Missoula, who had been extending an invitation for me to join him at his custom auto shop for years. Is there still a place for me in your heart? I inquired. Absolutely, he replied. When will you begin? After a month, I parted with the house in Spokane, invested the funds in a quaint cabin nestled just outside Missoula. 2 inviting bedrooms, a spacious garage to house my cherished tools, and the Mustang, with breathtaking mountains framing every view. As I prepared to leave Spokane, Derek and Amelia from next door came over to bid me farewell. Amelia offered me a warm casserole for the journey ahead. I expressed my heartfelt gratitude for all they had done. The shared meals, the gentle rhythm of lawn mowing, the unspoken support that wrapped around me in my moments of need. Are you feeling all right? Derek inquired. Are you truly all right? I found myself lost in contemplation. Approaching the destination, 3 months into my new life in Montana, a message arrived from an unfamiliar number. Once more, it's Brianna. I heard you're finding your way back to health. I'm filled with warmth. It may be hard to fathom, but you frequently occupy my thoughts. I find myself reflecting on a choice I deeply regret. I felt a deep sense of fear and a longing for myself. I deeply regret everything, Anthony. I immersed myself in it twice, contemplating the right moment to share my thoughts. Ultimately, I responded with just 4 words. I emerged from the depths of my struggles. Take care of yourself. After that, I silenced the number, set my phone aside, and immersed myself in the work on the Mustang. It will no longer be available. To cherish it, to bring it back once more, this time solely for my own heart. There are moments in life when certain things, once shattered, remain beyond repair. Yet, some can emerge renewed, more resilient than ever. I found myself among them.